Greetings from the Gods of Semen channel. I'm Layert, a devoted researcher and regular seminal retention practitioner with years of expertise assisting men in realizing their full potential on all levels, physical, mental, and spiritual. Many people lack drive, vitality, and purpose in life, but trust me when I say that there is a potent method to change this situation. By restoring its inner strength and igniting the fire of resolve, seminal retention can provide self-confidence and clarity of purpose. I want to be clear before we begin. I will prioritize the greatest contributions and respond to inquiries from people who send a thanks note worth more than $5. In addition to supporting our efforts, this support tells YouTube that the content is pertinent, which helps spread the word to more people. Stay tuned at the finish, as I will impart insightful knowledge and life-changing perspectives on how to implement pivotal retention in your daily life. Are you prepared to go on and become the finest version of yourself? Come on then. I find myself in a place where every part of my body throbs with energy that is not only physical or mental, but also takes the form of an unseen force that has the power to significantly alter my reality. I acknowledge that for many years, I was surrounded by stimuli and diversions that robbed me of this inner strength. It's almost as like I've disregarded my capacity to perform at my highest level and channel this strength toward a higher goal. I started paying closer attention to how easily modern life can trick us with quick gratifications and pull us away from something genuinely revolutionary when I learned that seminal retention provided a path to this interior reunion. Every time we discuss maintaining our sexual vitality, I get the impression that we are discussing something more complex than basic physiological regulation. I firmly believe that every one of us have an endless reservoir of latent strength that is just waiting to be roused at any moment. All I need to do is enter this process with the appropriate discipline. I prefer to think of this discipline as a channeling process where every excitement or urge that I used to let out spontaneously turns into a reserve that fuels my creativity, vigor, and feeling of purpose. I don't think it's possible to overlook the fact that keeping doesn't imply suffocating suppression. Rather, it resignifies the use of this energy and turns it into a tool to support my own development. As my research into ancient practices like Taoism and Hinduism grew, I came to understand that these ideas, which are sometimes viewed as mystical, actually have a direct impact on our physiology, since the body reacts more visibly when we take better care of it. Every cell vibrates differently, and I feel as though my muscles, mental clarity, and even posture in the face of life now reflect a solidity and safety that wasn't there before. We still live in a period when instant gratification is continuously encouraged, of course, which made me wonder how many times I wasted my sexual energy without thinking about it, and how many chances I missed to develop a deeper sense of purpose because I gave in to fleeting desires. Seminal retention, in my opinion, is a daily dedication to oneself that calls for the same kind of discipline as training one's body or mind to accomplish significant objectives. Avoiding instant pleasure and learning to channel the urge toward something bigger, whether it be the accomplishment of a career objective, the development of a creative endeavor, or even the fortification of my spirituality, are all part of this discipline. My everyday life started to alter in tangible ways. I was more ready to take on chores that required focus. I had more energy for physical activity. I had greater mental clarity that allowed me to solve problems more imaginatively. And most importantly, I had a sense of power that had previously appeared latent. It's amazing to see how this sensation of strength comes from a calm conviction rather than from a mood of arrogance, as though I recognize that my potential is more than I previously thought. In order to question myself if it is truly worth sacrificing the chance to develop something far more meaningful in exchange for minutes of pleasure, I have learned to look inward and recognize when I'm about to slip into the same trap of seeking instant relief. I have a strong sense of maturity as a result of this process, as I feel like I am in control of my fate rather than being a slave to my desires. It seems like every time I restrain energy that could be wasted, I utilize it to cultivate a personal trait, a talent, or a project that excites me. I even came to the realization that seminal retention balances emotions that were previously trapped in the skin and caused anxiety or discouragement, in addition to boosting my physical vitality. The body stabilizes hormones and neurotransmitters when the roller coaster of instant rewards and discharges stops, resulting in a more consistent feeling of motivation and well-being. Retention and effective management of this energy can have a positive effect on testosterone production, mental clarity, and hormonal balance in general, according to science, which has been hesitantly pointing out some explanations for why this occurs. In particular, I believe that I can see the advantages without a comprehensive scientific manual because every action I do in practice yields extremely tangible consequences and greatly increases my sense of internal security. I'll admit that initially I lacked the sensitivity to pick up on the nuances, but as time went on, I became aware of every tiny change that took place in both my body and my thoughts, much like when I'm tuning a musical instrument until it eventually hits the correct note. The fact that great masters, philosophers, artists, and innovators throughout history have recognized the value of storing and directing sexual energy for ambitious projects, groundbreaking discoveries, and world-changing inventions is encouraging. When I research their routines, I frequently come across accounts that they nurtured this inner fire and channeled it toward time-marking endeavors rather than giving in to fleeting emotions. This, in my opinion, is a fantastic illustration of how retention can actually be used as an instrument for change. It is so potent that it can even affect future generations by inspiring them to take actions that would otherwise only be conceivable if it were possible to turn desire into motivation. I make an effort to live by this same attitude every day, especially now that I'm aware of how the society around us encourages us to waste our energy on pointless diversions like social media and other forms of pointless entertainment. Therefore, if I am unaware, I may wind up subtly depleting this energy without even realizing that I am becoming weaker and more susceptible. In a sense, retention serves as a continual reminder that I possess a great deal of power, but that power comes with responsibility. I now view strong desires as a reminder that I have a vast supply of fuel that is ready to be used for my advancement, rather than as a signal that I need to get help right away. Because it takes sensitivity to notice my mental and physical states, as well as the reason I want to expend all of this energy, I view practice as a true art. Since I am much more aware of the possibilities that present themselves and am able to seize them with determination and focus when I keep this spark burning, I like to assume that this is directly related to the ability to attract what people refer to as luck. This shift seems to be felt by those around me as well, and it seems as though a natural attraction started to pervade my talks, relationships, and the way the universe responds to my aims. I've heard others wonder if this magnetism is genuine or only a matter of personal opinion. My experience in particular indicates that it is entirely true since, when I began using seminal retention, I observed multiple instances in which doors opened virtually without warning. Are you ready to advance in your quest for spiritual awareness and personal change? With great pleasure, I introduce my new book, Alchemy of the Gods, which delves deeply into the concepts of Kundalini, crystalline oil, and spiritual freedom. Imagine being able to reach the most pure form of your inner energy, growing in awareness, and ultimately achieving harmony between your body, mind, and spirit. These chapters, which are full of millennial secrets and ancient rituals, will tell you this. The three media of Alchemy of the Gods, physical, digital, and audiobook, will make your journey even more convenient. So, based on your routine and preferences, you decide how to enter this changing reality. Do you want to read, listen, or delve further into each chapter? You make the decision. To guarantee your copy, click the link in the description and the repaired comment right now. Get the tools you need to boost your inner vitality, deepen your spiritual awareness, and find a new purpose in life. First of all, though, I have something new that you might not have anticipated. I introduce the ultimate audiobook, Semen Retention Success Path, which covers the 6 key pillars of seminal retention in over 2 hours of previously unheard of content. This is the career guidance you've been missing if you want to rediscover your essential vitality, regain focus, and experience long-lasting personal improvement. Additionally, you can receive 30% off The Art of Semen Retention for Men ebook, which has 20 pages of sophisticated techniques for spiritual development, emotional equilibrium, and life purpose when you buy the Semen Retention Success Path. For people who want to change steadily and see tangible results, this is the ideal combo. Lastly, I would like to extend an invitation to you to join my channel. Joining the member community grants you access to YouTube's exclusive privileges, including priority answers, early access to new content, and many more. Additionally, your contribution keeps this channel running, enabling us to provide even more news and insightful lessons to everyone looking to reach their full potential. Don't wait any longer. Get Alchemy of the Gods and the audiobook Semen Retention Success Path by clicking the link right now. The choice you make today will determine your future. I can recall times when I was afraid to speak up or take charge, and then all of a sudden, I was fully present, energized enough to take on obstacles and project true confidence. This, in my opinion, is because my body is unable to eliminate important chemicals that boost my testosterone, sharpen my focus, and ultimately strengthen my belief. Because I feel like my words have more weight and a gravity that comes from within, I even recognize that interpersonal communication is more flexible. This emotion is conveyed through posture, appearance, and even gesture. Because it originates from an inner level of firmness, it is almost like a more consistent body language that does not use any theatricality. This is not a miracle in my opinion. Rather, it is the inevitable result of having a healthy body and a mind free from fluctuations, low satisfaction, and the ensuing depletion of energy. Since self-confidence, which typically looks so hard to attain, can be nourished in a very tangible way through this practice, I am convinced that many people find this truth and become fascinated. I am more equipped to handle obstacles in my daily life when I intentionally store and direct my energy. I believe I have enough motivation to persevere beyond the initial challenge, whether it be to commit to a professional endeavor, develop a closer connection, or pursue a career shift. The same intensity I used to discharge without criteria is now focused on what is most important to my personal development, making what once seemed far-fetched or unachievable a realistic aim. It's interesting that seminal retention allows me to get more intimate with myself, as though preventing the sudden outburst of want compelled me to confront my own feelings, desires, and vulnerabilities. Even though it can be challenging at times, this self-discovery journey is very freeing. It seems as though every surge of desire has turned into a chance to examine myself, identify my innermost desires, identify my concerns, and figure out how to handle all of this with ease and stability. As I made a commitment to practice, I observed that some of the emotional problems I was having were going away because I was beginning to confront these problems head-on, rather than attempting to avoid them by seeking out immediate gratification. The ability to deal with the outside world in a far more mature manner reflects the same fortitude to face their own ghosts with composure. All of this, in my opinion, merely serves to emphasize the notion that seminal retention has a broad nature that extends well beyond sexual concerns. It affects how I view my place in the world, how I make plans, how I handle obstacles at work, and how I interact with others. Since I no longer have to cover up so many fears or insecurities, I feel like I've become more open and honest. I'm caring for myself from the inside out, and this care radiates in a genuine way that draws good people and circumstances. My belief that there is a tremendous power just waiting to be unearthed grows with every story I hear from guys who have followed this practice and seen a transformation in their lives. Many claim to have discovered a level of focus and serenity they had never experienced before, while others report overcoming addictions or experiencing a significant increase in productivity. Realizing that these accomplishments are the consequence of the simple act of not spending our life force carelessly rather than something supernatural is a powerful moment. Nowadays, practically everything pushes us to give in to instant gratification, which may seem good at the moment, but always comes at a cost. For this reason, I think that when properly implemented and comprehended, seminal retention provides a path to re-establishing man's equilibrium and resolve, which in turn leads to useful outcomes in life. I would say that the only method to determine whether or not that would be a mere illusion is to do experiments on the skin itself. I didn't realize how transforming practice is until I gave myself permission to incorporate it into my daily life, despite my initial setbacks and missteps. Creating a path of continuous progress where each new phase gives me a more thorough understanding of who I am and how I might reach my full potential is more important than striving for perfection. I discovered a greater significance in all I do after learning to value the process over the instant outcome through the discipline demanded by retention. Even in the face of inescapable difficulties, this appreciation of the process fosters a sense of joy in life and the satisfaction that it is providing for the body and mind in harmony. I consider this as a genuine exercise in self-supply, because every time I resist the temptation to give in and choose to keep my energy up, I am winning a little internal conflict that fortifies my resolve and sense of commitment. I feel as though I've added a new piece to the large puzzle that represents my ideal self. Deep insights gained from living this way not only help me, but also have a good impact on those around me. I'm aware that many people are curious about how they might undergo this transition after witnessing my shift in perspective. The idea that increasing my own vibration ultimately inspires others to pursue a similar path is maybe one of the most fulfilling parts of seminal retention. This positive contagiousness, in my opinion, spreads among individuals who want to get to know one another better, who want to more mindfully control their own energy, and who long for tangible outcomes in different spheres of their lives. I find it fascinating to consider how this cascade of events might have a profound effect on a culture that has a tendency to steer us in the other direction. From the bottom of my heart, I think that the more guys who follow this practice, the more we will witness a strong generation that is capable and dedicated. You may either keep battling the lack of drive and direction that impedes your development, or you can decide right now to transform your complete potential into creative strength and realize your life's ambitions. You have the power to choose. To delve even further into your evolutionary path, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and view the next suggested video.